Churchville, we are here today to turn our Sakura painting into a cuboid lantern. So we're going to take our paper and fold it into what's called a cuboid form. So it's going from a flat piece of paper into a 3D object. So because we need the beautiful painting to be on the outside of our form, we're actually going to flip our paper over. And the first thing you're going to do, it doesn't matter which side you do this on, you're just going to take and fold the end over just about an inch or so. So I think since if I fold this one over, I have my flowers showing, I'm going to fold over this side because this is going to wind up being a tab that we glue everything else to. And I don't want to not be able to see some of my blossoms. So I'm trying my best just to flatten this out. It's okay if it's not perfect, and your pastel, once you run your finger along that crease line, will smear a little bit, but don't worry about that. From this point, we are going to fold the paper completely in half, bringing the left side all the way over to the right side. I'm gonna try my best to make corners meet. Crease it in the middle first, and then I can run one finger down, one finger up. Like I said, the pastel might smear a little bit, but it's just on the edges. You really want to push down and try to crisp up that edge. So it kind of looks like a book. We're now going to open the book and do what I like to call the door fold. You're going to bring this edge in to line up with that center crease you made before. So you're going to bring this in, again, line it up as best you can, hold it in the middle, crease in the middle first, then rub your fingers along the edge. You want to remember to get that nice crisp edge, so you might need to rub it a couple of times. Then do the same thing to the right side, bringing it in, lining up. It's okay if they don't touch perfectly. Crease it in the middle, and then rub up, rub down, so you get that really nice, good crease. From here, we're gonna open it back up, and you remember that tab we made in the beginning? We're just gonna pull it out just a little bit, and the idea now that all four of these edges are done, we can actually glue this side under the first side right there. So I'm gonna take my glue, make sure it's open and whistling to me. Hello. And I don't want this to fall apart, so I'm gonna make sure that it's stuck, kiss that glue to that paper. I swear I tested this glue bottle out before I started shooting, but of course it's not working. So sometimes you have to do a little glue surgery to fix your glue bottles to make sure they are open. Sometimes they get little glue boogers. Oh my goodness, that's a big glue booger. Take that little guy off, put my cap back on. Now it should be whistling pretty. All right. So I'm gonna touch that glue to my paper, and I'm gonna do a whole line of glue here along that edge. And remember, since this has the glue on it, it's going to go under this flap. And I'm just gonna kind of hold this still, pressing it down, especially on the edges. So my fingers are inside my shape now, and I'm holding this still. This part takes patience. So don't be impatient. Let it sit. Count in your head for 30 seconds. Sing yourself a little song. Do the Jeopardy music. Do, 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 do. And the whole time I'm pressing my thumbs down with my fingers and pinching this closed. Sometimes if your hand is tiny enough, you also want to stick it further inside your cuboid and press your two fingers together along to get that edge stuck down as well. Once it's pretty stuck, the glue sometimes will ooze out the side, not the end of the world. It dries clear. You see, I've got a pretty cool cuboid, which is that square form. Now I've got to make a top and bottom. So I'm going to use my scissors, and in each of the creases, I'm just going to cut about a finger width length on each of the creases. This creates a little tab. I'm going to do it on the top and the bottom. That way, these tabs give me a place to put my glue. So I'm going to take them and just fold them inside of that cuboid a little bit, and you'll see it starts to make a little ledge. That's where we're gonna put our glue to glue the top piece and the bottom piece as well. So you're gonna do that all the way around. It's okay if it's not perfect. You can see once I fold them down, I pop them back up so it gives you a nice flat surface. So you want to remember which one's your top and your bottom. I think mine needs to go like this with the blue at the top and the purple at the bottom. So I'm going to set this to the side. And if you are at home, you're going to get out a piece of paper. Your goal with this paper is to take and make 2 squares. One for the top and one for the bottom of your cuboid. So you want them to be kind of even. So we're going to take our construction paper and fold it in half. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to cut a square that's a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use my cuboid and kind of put it in the center a little bit and use either a pencil just to draw a line. I need it to be maybe about even there, come up, be about even there. That's pretty good. And I'm going to cut while the paper is folded to make my square. It's about 5 inches or so, but you don't have to measure with a ruler. Then that gives me one for the top and one for the bottom. But I can also save this little strip here. So I'm gonna cut this part off and actually cut this in half to make a nice thin piece that could be used for the handle of my lantern. So the top is pretty much done. All I have to do is glue it. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna flip it. I can see my pencil there, so I don't wanna do that side. So I'm gonna use and put the glue on the tabs, and I'm gonna start to do just a little line of glue all the way around. And I'm going to push this down. And again, it's all about holding it still and being patient. So count in your head for a few seconds. It's gonna take 30 seconds to a minute to dry. Again, you can sing yourself a little song, a little doodad, whatever you need. Then you're gonna flip this guy over and set him down. The bottom, especially if you wanna use this and actually shine a light in it, we need to make a hole. So you're gonna fold this in half again. And you can either draw a little square, a little circle, something as long as it's along that creased side, kind of like when 2nd grade made stencils, and you can cut that out to make a little hole. Then you're pretty much doing the same thing. You're gonna put glue, this time all the way around the edges. You wanna be careful that you don't make that center shape too large because you wanna actually be able to glue it. So find the best angle you can. Ms. Hops made hers a little large, but it's not the end of the world. I could always get another piece and try again, and I'm gonna try to stick this down a little bit and hold it in my hand so it gives me a nice little edge. So remember, you can set it and forget it, let that stick down, flip it over. It will dry pretty clear. And I'm gonna set it. The last part you need to do is make a handle. You can use a pipe cleaner for this if you have them by poking holes inside of that, but a piece of paper works just as good. The only difference is now you're gonna make tabs for the paper by folding one side up, flipping it over, folding the other side up, and then you're gonna just glue it by putting a little dot of glue on each of those little tabs you made, pulling your lantern back to your center, and then you're gonna glue those so that the tabs are down, and you just use your fingers. See, I can stick my fingers down just to hold that flat. And then the rest of this is just waiting for it to dry. So I'm just holding it in place. And then at the end, I have a beautiful lantern.